Hey Glass Gang, thanks for tuning in. So you might have seen my recent upload where I show the pre-nerf and current game TSE Elder's Mark no longer being able of achieving sub-minute times in a side-by-side video that I have up on the channel. In this video, I showed the two-shot explosive Elder's Mark being capable of sub-minute times coming in at 48 seconds completely solo at the snake boss. Since the recent patch, it nerfed not only the two-shot mod but also the cursed effect on the Elder's Mark. And so I went and started tweaking my Elder's Mark build to regain sub-minute times. These changes to this build apply to all three of the Elder's Mark builds on the channel. I will be updating them individually, but I'm starting with the bloodied build since this one is the longest without being updated. With the main difference being I'm no longer running two-shot explosive on this weapon. I did try quad explosive as well, but I found that with quad rapid VATS optimized, I'm able to get more consistent sub-minute times. The DPS is much higher and it's always sub-minute. Coming in at the same 48-second times as the two-shot explosive Elder's Mark pre-nerf. So now we're going to watch it take on the Ultrasight Terror Snake Boss solo. After that, I'll do a full build breakdown going over the weapon, armor, and special perk loadout in that order. But before we begin, smash that like button. It's the final boss of YouTube. It'll help to get the video out there to more people who need to see it. Ultrasight Terror Test. Starting the fight, I cripple the snake by targeting plate A. You'll notice the little health bar under the VATS hit chance is depleting as I'm doing damage. This will cause the plate to break, and I don't get the visual animation of the snake falling over here, but it is still crippled, so after you see that health bar deplete, you can swap to the eyes. We're doing this because of Easy Target, a perk card on the build that adds 75% more range damage to crippled targets. And from that point on, you just lock onto the eyes, hold your critical attack button down because this build is set up to crit every other shot. This will return HP and AP on crit, keeping you alive and keeping your infinite VATS. A tip for surviving the headbutt is to make sure you're standing still when you receive the headbutt and you're doing DPS with the Elder's Mark. This build uses Sentinels, a 3-star armor mod that reduces the damage you take if you're standing still. And that's a 48-second solo after the patch, the same DPS and times that we were getting with two-shot explosive Elder's Mark. Now we're going to compare the quad versus the Furious. Both are running the same mods and the same buffs, and mainly the biggest difference here is every time I tried with Furious on this build, I could not survive it. Mainly because I think it just boiled down to I was reloading so much, and you'll see in the clip here I reload 4 times more than the quad, that I'd be reloading when I needed sustained health regen or at crucial moments when the snake is doing poison damage and I'm caught reloading. I'm not getting that passive HP regen from conductors. Moments like that were happening so much I couldn't get a clean run. I just kept dying over and over with Furious. But quad makes it so that you can be in those moments and you are dumping rounds and getting HP returned on crit, which is sustaining your HP and keeping you alive. We're already at the point where the quad Elder's Mark has completed the round, and the Ultrasight Snake Terror on the Furious side still has a third of its HP. And yeah, it's almost impossible to get a clean run because I'm reloading so much that I take so much damage that it can't keep me alive and I die. So please follow the tactics in the video and please use quad on this build. It will do more DPS because you reload 4 times more with Furious, you're not doing damage when you're reloading. And this is negatively impacting times on the Furious. With quad, you're able to avoid that, and Furious can't stack Bulletstorm in a meaningful way, versus quad can reach the full 20 stack value. Quad is also acting like an uninterrupted super stim. Every time you get a crit, you get health regeneration from conductors, and because you're able to do that sustained DPS uninterrupted, it is just healing you anytime you're taking damage. So please don't ruin my build by putting Furious on it and then blame me in the comments for the survivability being bad. I warned you. Or just to say that you're only able to get 1 minute times. That's why quad is like an open tap. It's death by volley of bullets. These are the weapon mods you need to achieve the same results, and these are super important. Quad, rapid, VATS optimized, conductors, legendary mods. Quad gives us 300% more ammo capacity. This helps us sustain DPS, have passive regen that is sustained and uninterrupted. The faster rate of fire increases the DPS by 25% and drops times on this build. Conductors is giving us critical hits restore 10 health and action points instantly and 100 more over 5 seconds. And that is what's giving us the survivability. This is not optional. This is a mod you need to sustain the survivability and infinite VATs of this build. Standard receiver is also important to have the lower AP cost. Hardened and other mods like Prime will show you increased damage, but the standard receiver has lower AP cost and leads to a better sustained AP by not having such a high AP cost. Also live streamed comparing the Prime receiver and pinpointers mod versus standard receiver with conductors, and both setups got 10-second times. The difference is the side with Prime receiver and pinpointers needed coffee to achieve it, and the side with conductors and standard receiver did not. So that was an eye-opening live stream, and I'll link that in the description if you want to check it out. Short light barrel, recoil compensating stock, medium quick eject drum. You could step this up to a large quick eject, but it only gives you 25 rounds more and it has slower reload speed. But it's overall not bad. The worst one is large drum. This one has a terribly slow reload speed. So this mod is optional. You can do whichever one you feel is going to be more comfortable for you. But the best times I achieved was with medium quick eject to have a good reload speed that's fast enough to keep sustaining DPS. Glow sights also reduces the AP cost of the weapon. This is super important. And the suppressor mod is mainly for reduced noise. I find this thing is like a jackhammer going off in my ear. I play with headphones, so it's more of a quality of life mod for me. This is the armor set I'm using. I'll start with the armor set under armor. I'm using Shielded Vault 76 Jumpsuit for +2 endurance, +5 intelligence, and +3 luck. And for the armor set itself, it's a set of Brotherhood Recon. I have Unyielding, Elementalist, Sentinels, Limit Breaking. Unyielding increases all our stats except endurance at low health. And we also get increased resistances by +25. The 5% damage reduction while standing still is the Sentinels mod and is why I recommend standing still, because this will only work for you if you're standing still. This gives you 5% damage reduction while standing still, and we have this on each piece and it stacks. So you'll have a survivability increase with this build over the last build, because the last build was using active or reflex, I believe. I think it was reflex on the bloodied. And that reflex mod got nerfed, so I swapped it out for something that's working better for me, and that's Sentinels. I just have to remember to stand still at the head strike, the headbutt thingy, and it helps a lot to remember that. Besides that, I have one too many limit breaking. I'm overcapped on luck, and I could technically swap this out for something else like Rangers or 5% more bonus damage, or Tankies for 200% or +200 damage resist for 10 seconds while standing still, which I'll probably do, to be honest. I'll do that now, because basically I have too much luck on the build. That might not seem like much, but the 200 damage resist will bump me up from 600 to 900 damage resist when I'm standing still, which will synergize well with the Sentinels mod, since I already have to stand still for that damage reduction mod to work. For the standard non-legendary mods, I don't have any of the standard ones unlocked, but if you do, if you have them unlocked, the standard non-legendary mods you'll want are going to be the following. Either Recon Burtrust armor, arms and legs and torso, or dense armor torso instead of Burtrust. And you'll want the strengthened armor limbs for sure. But these are all good options here, and you can even pair that with the deep pocketed mod. These are the points you'll need to invest in the build. You'll need 15 strength, 8 perception, 6 endurance, 3 charisma, 3 intelligence, 10 agility, and 11 luck. For legendary cards, you'll need legendary luck, legendary perception, legendary endurance, legendary agility, legendary taking one for the team, and legendary strength. For PERK cards, I have Traveling Pharmacy, bringing the big guns. Easy target, bullet storm, lock and load, and scatter shot. Under perception, it's downranger, tormentor, tank killer, green thumb, and this is because I use blight soup with the build. So blight grows around outside the raids, is super easy to get in large quantity, and all you need is blight and boiled water to craft blight soup. It gives you 125% extra critical attack damage for half an hour. So this just lets me grab more of that when I'm farming it. Concentrated fire and awareness. Under endurance, I have life giver, ironclad, through hiker, natural resistance, thirst quencher, adamantium skeleton, and starch genes. In charisma, it's strange in numbers and tenderizer. Under intelligence, I have first aid and nerd rage. In agility, I have gunslinger, gunslinger expert, guerrilla expert, guerrilla master, enforcer, evasive, and a 1-star born survivor. But if you're not bossing, the build has enough survivability to drop this card in place for something like a 1-star gunfu so that you swap target on kill. Or if you want, you can also swap this out for a 1-star packing light for faster AP regen when you're not over encumbered. Better criticals, serendipity, ricochet, 4-leaf clover, class freak, critical savvy, and quick hands make up the luck. The minimum buffs I'm going to recommend with this build are the usual Blight Soup and Overdrive. This combination is the most impactful with this playstyle, and it adds damage, critical attack damage for 3 minutes, and the Blight Soup gives you 125% extra critical attack damage. It's found growing outside of the raids in large quantities, and only takes Blight and boiled water to craft it. For optional buffs, you can do the first buffs I mentioned and add these to it, Guns and Bullets 3 and Small Guns Bobblehead. For best results. For mutations, I have Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Eagle Eyes, Egghead, Herbivore, Herd Mentality, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, and Speed Demon. Plague Walker, Talons, and Unstable Isotope you don't need. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your new Elder's Mark build. I'm Miss Glass. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. GG!